and you wanted him cremated.
I found a spot at a local park. She wanted me to dig up the animal's remains.
I wanted my child cremated. He did not deserve this. He didn't.
Sadness is a much more difficult emotion to deal with than anger. To do you a favor, he did you a favor, despite the fact that you were told how much it would cost. You didn't give him any money. He said, I didn't have 170, whatever it was. You said 175. He says $500 for the whole package. But whatever it is, if it was $175, you didn't give him the money, and he buried the dog. You asked him to bring a collar and a tuft of hair, both of which he did, for burying your dog in a location that you didn't select.
Yes.
So it's really an action for emotional distress, I suppose.
Yes.
And I read your case, and these are the facts as I understand them. You had a dog that you adored, that I understand. How long had you had the dog?
17 years, Your Honor.
So understand that he was your family.
Yes.
And he died. He had good life.
Yes.
I think the dog's name was what, Ice?
Ice.
And you wanted him cremated.
Yes, Your Honor.
But he passed away on a Friday. And the company that does cremation of animals wasn't available to get him. And from what you told me in your complaint, you were advised that you had to bring him to a vet center for the weekend because you couldn't keep the dog at home. It would not be possible. And the cremation company would pick the dog up from the vet center on Monday.
Correct.
So far, do I have the facts right?
You do.
You couldn't take care of that yourself. So you called Mr. Clonky, who was a neighbor of yours?
Yes.
And other than being your neighbor, do you have any other dealings with him? Have you socialized with his family?
No.
Several occasions I've given her rides and other favors as well.
Okay, so calling him, you were not calling him as a friend, you were calling him, he was your neighbor, and I gather you had no one else to call.
May I say something else?
Yes.
That was before my baby passed away. Yes, I might needed a ride to the store. I paid him.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking specifically.
Yes.
You called him on the Friday that Ice passed away.
Yes.
Because he was your neighbor.
Right.
And you couldn't take care of it yourself, so you were calling to ask him a favor, right?
That's correct.
And he agreed to do you this favor and to bring the dog to the vet center, which was a very lovely thing for him to do. You would agree?
I would agree.
You would agree, because he had to come to your house. He had to lift your dead dog into his truck or car and take it someplace. Well, that's a big deal. That's not a little deal. And as it turned out, according to Mr. Clonky, when he took the dog to the vet center, which you did,
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Which vet center?
It was the Blue Pearl. They would also not hold the animal over the weekend because it had been deceased already. They would not hold it over the weekend.
And Blue Pearl was where you had called? Just answer my question. That's a yes or a no.
Yes, I called.
He says he took the dog in his car and took the dog to Blue Pearl. And when you picked up the dog and took it to the place where you had called, did you try to contact her?
I tried to all day and then some of the next morning, and there was no answer and I did get a hold of her eventually 2 days later, and she said because she was grieving, which is understandable.
Of course.
But she did not answer the phone, so.
So what Mr. Clonky says is he could not leave the dog at Blue Pearl because they wanted $200 to hold the dog until the cremation company would come and pick the dog up. It's not something that they did free.
Actually, it's for a private, to keep the ashes is $532.25 to drop it off, full in payment.
So in order to drop the dog off to the cremation company, I thought you said it was $200.
That's for just the common cremation, which you do not get the ashes back. They needed payment in full for if she wanted to keep the ashes and have a burial service like she intended. It was $532.
Well, did they ask you for that money?
Yes, absolutely. It has to be paid in full.
So you didn't have the money. which is what you say in your answer. So tell us what you did with the dog.
I found a spot at a local park, not far from where we live, about 3 miles, and buried it off in the woods there at the park.
And that's what you're suing for.
Yes.
But before you buried the dog, according to you, you took the dog's collar.
A collar and a piece of fur for her, with her request.
Well, she had requested that not before you buried the dog, but she had requested that from the place where you were supposed to take the dog.
No. She requested it in person as I was carrying the animal out to my vehicle.
Okay. By the way, how much did this dog weigh?
40-ish pounds.
What kind of dog was it?
I have no
What
idea.
kind of a dog?
He was a Jack Russell Terrier mixed with a Schnauzer.
So as you were carrying the dog out, she asked you, because that's something that you wouldn't think of ordinarily.
Correct.
You wanted the collar and a tuft of fur.
Yes.
And you did bring that to her.
I put it in a Ziploc bag and brought it back.
Did you get the dog's collar?
I got the dog's collar, but I had to go over to his house to get it. Before that,
I don't care whether you had to go to the house to get it,
okay.
madam.
But I did get the collar and the hair.
And the hair, which he brought
What
you.
I asked for, but he never made it to the hospital
Well, I don't know whether he made it to the hospital or not.
because I called.
Well,
Okay.
whether he made it to the hospital or not, it's sad that you didn't get your dog's ashes if that's what you wanted. Did he offer to take you to where he had buried the dog?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, he did.
And the dog passed away on what date?
Friday, April 19th.
And when did he offer to take you over to where he had buried the dog?
That was like the same day, like that Sunday, which was like the 21st, 22nd. And then.
So shortly thereafter.
Right, but I never did make it there.
Just a second. That's not what I asked you, Miss Johnson.
Yes.
I said he buried the dog, and he offered to take you to the spot where he had buried the dog, right?
Yes.
And that was shortly after he had buried the dog. So you would have seen whether there was a fresh grave, you would have seen that. You chose not to go.
That's not true. He never took me.
Oh,
He just,
did you say you wanted to go?
I said I wanted to go, but then he's told me first, I will take you. I said, okay. Then, like, maybe say the next day, I gets ready. I'm sitting on the porch. I said, Joel, I'll be ready to go. Oh, if something happened to his roommate. Oh, my truck broke down. Oh, this, oh, that.
Okay, so you never got to go there.
I never got to go. I don't know where my child is.
No, I'm going to interject just for a second. Okay, so, I was going to take her. I am a busy man. I do.
Let's slow down, sir.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I do have a job. I do have other obligations. And when I finally had a chance to take her, she was not good enough. No. She wanted me to dig up the animal's remains and then retake it over to have them cremated.
Okay. Is that what she told you?
That is exactly what she told me.
And how much after you had buried the dog did you have that conversation?
2 weeks.
Do you remember Miss Johnson having that conversation with Mr. Clonky?
That was down the line. That's when I just had it. I called him. I said, Joel, you're going to take me to go see my baby's grave. You're going to get a shovel. You're going to dig him up. We're going to go to Faithful Friends cremation service, and I'm going to have him cremated. He cussed me out, called me a crazy old woman, and hung the phone up in my face. And I'm looking like the phone like this. I know he did not say that to me.
I did call her crazy because...
Just a second. Just a second.
Yes, ma'am.
That was not an appropriate way to respond to you, but I will tell you that going and asking him at that point to go and dig the dog up from where he had buried the dog to take a dog, that's not his job. You had asked him to do you a favor. So I understand that's what the case is about. It's not a difficult case. What I want to ask you is, why do you think it's worth $10,000, which is what you're suing him for?
It's because he have caused me a lot of pain, heartache.
No, what your pain is that your dog died. You have to come to terms. You have to come to terms with the fact that you're sad because your dog died. And you ask somebody to do you a favor. They didn't do it to your specifications, which were unfortunate and sad. Trying to put a monetary value on that is almost impossible. is really almost impossible. What would, Miss Johnson, I'm just asking you, what do you think $10,000 would do for you?
I know that it will not bring my little boy back.
Of course not, but nothing's going to bring it back. He was 17 years old. That's how old that he was.
Right.
That's like somebody living to be 105. That's a great life. So you don't want to bring him back. He was probably very sick for a while before he passed away, because he was a very senior dog. A 40-pound dog who lives to be 17 is miraculous and a testament to your good mothering. That's true.
Right.
But
And
I don't understand how you think a monetary award of $10,000, that would be punishing him substantially for really trying to do you a favor, coming over, picking up. That's not an easy thing to do, picking up a dead animal, keeping it for a period of time in a car, in a truck, taking it anywhere, whether it's to a vet center or to a place to bury it. That's not a little deal.
But, Your Honor, like I said, I asked him if he could take him. I had the address and phone number to Blue Pearl. I didn't know anything about Blue Pearl Emergency Hospital until Mr. from Faithful Friends Cremation Service gave me that. He said, whoever you get to take your baby out of there, we will come on that Monday to get him and cremate him.
I understand exactly.
So
I laid that out.
Joel to do, and he did. But that Sunday, I called the next day to remind them that I needed his collar, I needed his hair. And that's when this lady told me, we do not have your baby.
Yeah, fine.
And I'm like...
Yes, we don't have your baby. That's true. Because he says he took the dog and he buried it. That's not answering my question, Miss Johnson.
But
Miss Johnson, my question...
That's not what we discussed about. And he went over my head, didn't even say nothing.
It's not as if he... Miss Johnson,
right.
That's not what I asked you.
Unreachable.
That's not what I asked you, and that's not what I said. How you think $10,000 is an appropriate punishment for somebody who is doing you a favor?
I feel like he should be paid for what he did. I mean, paid back for what he did.
How's that going to make you feel better?
That's not. It's not making me feel bad. I'm just ill behind this one. Has caused me more health problems. It's caused me to take more medication. I have been stressed out for these 6 months, not knowing where my child is. His dog got killed on a highway on the side of the road. He had a chance to say goodbye to his baby. I didn't have that chance to say goodbye to my child.
You did. The dog was with you when he died.
But he died. But yes, but that's not. I wanted my child cremated.
Okay, I understand.
He did not deserve this. He didn't.
It didn't deserve to rot.
He did not.
My
Just a second.
2 weeks.
My child did not deserve to be in no ground, because that's not what I told him. That's not what I told him to do. I said, please drop him off at the hospital. Here's the address. Here's the phone number. Faithful Friends are coming on Monday.
Did you give him any money?
No, he didn't ask for any money.
I didn't ask you whether he asked for it.
No, ma'am, I did not.
When you
No, ma'am,
call,
I did not.
Just a second. When you call to inquire about the cremation, did you ask how much it would cost? Just a second.
Okay.
That's a yes or a no. Did you ask how much it would cost?
The hospital told me I didn't have to ask them.
Okay, and what did they tell you?
They told me it would have been $175 to keep him there to hope.
Okay, to keep him there. Did you give Joe $175?
Because Joe did. No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
So you did not. And he did you a favor, but you didn't give him any money. Is that what I'm hearing?
And then didn't answer the phone.
Don't speak.
Sorry.
I'm asking you a question. They told you it was $175. He picked up the dog. Why didn't you give him $175? Who was supposed to pay the $175?
I was supposed to have
Just
paid.
a second.
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you give it to him?
He didn't ask.
He doesn't have to ask. You asked him to take the dog to the vet center. You knew it was $175.
No.
You told me that you knew it. You told me that you didn't have to ask.
Until I called that Sunday. They told me how much it would be.
Yes, they told you, and I asked you whether you gave him any money. You said no.
I did not.
Okay.
And then
Miss Johnson, sadness is a much more difficult emotion to deal with than anger. So I can understand your being sad that Ice died and was your companion, no longer there, although a wonderful life. You asked your neighbor to do you a favor. He did you a favor, despite the fact that you were told how much it would cost. You didn't give him any money. He said, I didn't have 107. whatever it was. You said $175. He says $500 for the whole package. But whatever it is, if it was $175, you didn't give him the money, and he buried the dog. You asked him to bring a collar and a tuft of hair, both of which he did. And it's unconscionable for me to even consider awarding you what you're asking for, which is $10,000, because your dog wasn't cremated when you did nothing. Nothing. You were told what it would cost. He took the animal, not an easy thing to do, to where you asked him to take the animal to. You did not provide him with the resource to leave the animal there because you didn't give him any money.
No, I did not.
No, you did not. Are you still neighbors?
No,
Who moved?
he did.
Okay.
He jumped up and ran. He moved.
I did
He
not
didn't. You think he ran away from you?
That and probably his apartment, because he rented out his apartment to a couple. And the people who own the place, they're after him, so.
Whatever. Ms. Johnson, you don't
anyway.
have a case against him. I'm sorry. Case is dismissed.
Do what I asked him to do, or what Mr. from Faithful Friends asked me to ask him to do.
Protocol was I was supposed to drop the animal off and $175 that I did not have. And then after that, she wanted me to keep it over the weekend in my truck. Not gonna happen.
He took it upon himself and did what he wanted to do.
There's a neighbor doing a favor, and I'm getting ridiculed for doing a favor.
He's in a better place, but I really prefer if he had been at his final home as cremation.
I understand completely she's upset. No animosity on my end. I know why she's upset, just not with me.
This has been a theme I think we've seen a little bit over the last few cases, is that, just like you said, sadness is a much more difficult emotion to deal with than anger. And here, as soon as we read the papers, I thought I was going to see a very different defendant than the one we saw today. I thought I would see, I don't know, some sort of ill will or deception, or I didn't really know what. But then what came in front of us was just a neighbor trying to be neighborly and help out. And unfortunately, the plan didn't work out how the plaintiff wanted to. But like you said, that was not worth, forget $10,000, that wasn't worth any amount of money. He did what he thought was best, and with the options that he had at the time, if you don't answer your phone and you don't provide any money. So without providing any of those things, I think it's easier to be angry than it is to just be sad, which obviously I could tell she still was.
To me, that's such a difficult thing, maybe because as animal lovers, maybe he is
Yeah.
not. I don't know. She said he had a dog.
Yeah.
But picking up and
Oh, yeah.
carrying a large dog
Traumatic.
and putting it in your car and having to take it anywhere is a big ask.
And then not only that, you could tell he had goodwill. He buried the dog. I mean, I know we've had animals in our family that have passed away and have asked loved ones to help, in the backyard, dig a safe place for the dog and make it beautiful. And we've seen what the end result of digging a nice place for an animal is, and that's not a small ask either. And
No.
he wasn't complaining one bit about doing
and we
any
had
of that.
small dogs.
And we had tiny dogs, not 40-pound dogs. And so for him to actually go find a nice wooded area, actually dig a grave, that is almost more work than just taking the dog from the neighbor's house to wherever he was supposed to take it. So I think unfortunate, all in all, but again, not his fault.
Yeah, I don't know how you put a monetary figure on not following my instructions on a favor.
All right, this one is emotional. I'm not even going to pretend it's not. 17 years with a dog. That's not just a pet, that's family, that's routine, that's memories, that's a chapter of your life. So first, Mom, I understand your pain. Losing a 17-year-old dog, that hits deep. That's like losing a family member. But now we have to separate emotion from responsibility. You asked your neighbor for a favor, not a paid service, not a professional cremation handler, not a signed contract. A neighbor, he came over, picked up a 40-pound deceased dog, loaded him into his vehicle, drove him somewhere. Let's be honest, that's not a small favor. That's a big, uncomfortable, heavy, emotional task. Seriously. Now here's the key issue. You knew there was a cost involved. You were told it would cost money to hold the dog. Around $175 to keep him there. Did you give him the money? No. Did you answer your phone consistently? No. So what exactly was he supposed to do? Keep a deceased animal in his truck for 3 days? That's not realistic, and people don't think clearly in those situations. He made a decision. He found a wooded area and buried the dog respectfully. Was it what you wanted? No. Was it cruel? No. Was it done with bad intentions? No. Then 2 weeks later you say, you're going to dig him up. Seriously? Dig up remains, transport them, redo everything? That's not part of a neighbor favor agreement. That's something you ask a professional, not someone who already helped you once. Now, let's talk about the $10,000 lawsuit. I'm going to say this straight. You cannot turn grief into a payday. No amount of money brings your dog back. No amount of money changes what happened. And punishing him financially doesn't fix your heartbreak. The judge said something very powerful. Sadness is harder to deal with than anger. And that's exactly what I saw here. You're devastated. You're hurting. And it's easier to be mad at him than to sit with the loss. But legally, he didn't steal. He didn't vandalize. He didn't act maliciously. He did what he thought was best when he had no money, no instructions beyond take him there, and no communication. And let's not ignore this. Digging a grave for a 40-pound dog is work. That's effort. That's physical labor. That's not dumping an animal somewhere. That's trying to give dignity. Imperfect help is not the same as wrongdoing. This case is tragic emotionally. But legally, there's no $10,000 damage here. It's grief. It's miscommunication. It's poor planning. But it's not a crime. Case dismissed was the right call. If you like real, honest courtroom breakdowns with zero sugarcoating, support the channel. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next reaction.